Okay, we've got some organizing to do on all of this geometry here. So first of all, we'll need to give them all name attributes. So if I just use a name SOP, which will generate the name attribute and give it a name. So what we'll do is in name here, put $OS like that. Okay, and that will take this name, whatever the label is on your node, it will give it the name. So I'm going to call this starfish, as it's a starfish. So then we check our geometry spreadsheet, and on our primitives, we got the name starfish there. If I get rid of that, you can see it's got the other one, which is, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we're giving them a nice clean piece of, a nice clean and name attribute. So next, coral. So I'll just alt click and drag on this, plug that in there, and this one will be coral. Which one is it? If we just look up here, coral 0, and then version 1. And if I do it like that, then I can just alt click and drag, and it will give me version 2, version 3, version 4, and version 5, like so. And then for this one, we've got, so this one is just Coral 1, the same thing, but Coral 1. So change that to Coral 1, version 1. Alt click and drag. Probably could do this in a more procedural way, you know, with for each loops and such, but I don't really want to get into that now. But you know, I'm sure we will come across that in the future. So what's next? Seaweed. So just copy that again. It doesn't take too long really to set all this up. So we got seaweed 0 dot version 1, and we got seaweed version 2, and then this one will be seaweed 1 version 1. Oh, let me put this to 0 and not O. Seaweedo. Seaweed 1 version 1. And seaweed 1 version 2. Brilliant. Okay, so got nice name attributes on everything. We will need to do the match size thing again. So match size. Okay. So we want the Y to be there. Scale to fit. Uniform scale, I'm going to do it to the X axis. Okay. So X going this way will be 1, and then everything else will be, you know, scaled to match that. Again, we could do a for each here, but I might want to make changes after the match size, so that would mean splitting it out again. So I'm just going to do it like this. It won't take a second. And we have to do it one by one because all the geometry, you know, if I do this after merging everything together, it won't have the correct result. Almost done. There we go. There we go. And then we could do that nice. Line them up fancy. So A, drag across. Same with all of these. Hold A and drag across. There we go, like that, nice and neat. Cool. So I want to merge. So the starfish and all of the corals, I'm going to merge them together because they're heavier geometry. I'm going to poly reduce all of those. So bring all of these together. Okay, and then poly reduce all of those pretty drastically. So 25%, so give me 25% of the polygons that you have. So there you go. You see we got much less polygons now, but still fine. You know, they're going to be tiny in our render, like, you know, that's kind of size. So it really doesn't matter. You could, if you like, you know, we've got different LODs. Here we've got LOD 01, we've got the highest one. You could just bring in the lowest one, but I prefer to start with the best quality and then, you know, work my way down, whatever I prefer. Up to you. You can try the other ones though. And then I'm going to, let me just separate these, merge them together, just like that. Okay, and then merge everything together. You and you come together. We probably should maybe give them some boxes because there's a lot going on here. So let's do that. So grab a box, not that. Yep. So starfish. Okay, and then I'd like to give them colors. There's no orange. Can I get an orange? Oh. Brown, that's kind of starfishy. And then all the corals, so box around these guys, corals, and make that white. And then what do we got? Seaweed, make a box around them. No, not a note. You can tell I don't use these very often, that one. But it's good practice. Seaweed, and make it green like that. Wicked. Okay, so now let's clean them up. Attribute delete. Down here, so I want to delete. We've got all these, so it's kind of given the name as the name of the attributes, if that makes sense. So I don't want that, so I'm going to delete all attributes except for the name attribute. Okay, which we just made, which is on the primitives. We're getting rid of the shop material path, but that's fine because we're gonna have to apply the materials again later. These we don't want, and then the guy alpha we do want, texture. Normal, that's fine, good. And then we will assemble. So these will be packed before they go into the copy to points there. Let's bring all this down. We won't do it now, but what this will do, I'm not sure if we've covered it yet, is it can create a new name attribute for each separate piece of geometry. But we don't want that. We've made our own name attributes. But we do want to pack the geometry. So now if we look at this, each not based on the name attribute, based on 3D connectivity. So each piece of separate geometry will be packed into its own thing. So this is way lighter now, 15 points. And we can use that. And now these can go into the copy to points and it will be much more efficient. Okay.